What's up, guys? Welcome to the Line Change. And in this video, we're going to be talking about and going over, as well as checking in on the current unrestricted free agents, as well as restricted free agents that are still available as of August 19th, 2025. So we're going to go over an article that, lists some of them who could still be available and who potentially the Vancouver Canucks could circle back on, as there are a few names that have been linked to the Vancouver Canucks, of course, that everyone knows about. Now, before we do that, I want to give a quick shout out and thank you to my sponsor, as I always do, Gassy Jack Art, maker of that incredible artwork you see there behind me. And you guys can check him out yourselves at GassyJackArt.com. You can also find him on Instagram at Gassy Jack Art. There's a link to his website in the description down below. So let's take a look at this article written by our friends at Canucks Army, as always. And it's written by Tyson Cole. And he goes on to say, is it just me, or is this August exceptionally quiet? Not just for the Vancouver Canucks, but for every team in the NHL. I guess a lot of NHL GMs are still at the cabin, as that is the term that people like to use. Up to August 17th of last season, the NHL saw two trades, Cody Glass to the Pittsburgh Penguins and the St. Louis Blues reacquiring their second-round pick for later use. Three free agent signings, Oliver Kylington and Matthew Phillips to the Colorado Avalanche and Magnus Hellberg to the Dallas Stars, as well as the Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg offer sheets from the St. Louis Blues. Granted, three trades came on August 18th and 19th. The Edmonton Oilers acquired Vasily Podkolzin and Ty Emberson in two separate deals, and Patrick Laine was shipped to the Montreal Canadiens. So if history repeats itself, we could be in for some moves coming as early as, today or even tomorrow. But compared to this August 17th, there have been zero trades, one re-signing, Joel Kiviranta with the Colorado Avalanche, and one PTO, Jack Johnson with the Minnesota Wild. What happened to the quote-unquote summer of offer sheets? NHL general managers must be taking an extra long vacation this summer. Anyway, back to the Canucks. After the Dakota Joshua trade, many fans believed that the management would quickly make another move, with their new cap space burning a hole in their pocket. However, it's now been exactly a month since the move, and the Canucks have yet to spend that cap space. To be fair, the unrestricted free agent market is pretty bland. There are just 4 unrestricted free agents available: Matt Grzelcyk, Jack Roslovic, Victor Olofsson, and Nikolai Kovalenko, who scored 20 or more points last season. The restricted free agent market, however, is a lot more star-studded. Marco Rossi, Mason McTavish, Luke Hughes, Luke Evangelista, and Connor Zary are still without a contract. With next to no news at this point of the summer, why not do a little checkup on the remaining UFAs/RFAs that the Canucks have been linked to this offseason and see if the Canucks could or possibly should circle back on them. First up, we have Jack Roslovic. We'll start with the most likely option the Canucks could still go after. Roslovic is the only free agent center still on the market who would fit the bill of what the Canucks may be searching for in a middle six center. No offense to the Craig Smiths and Luke Kunin's of the world. Canucks have expressed interest in Roslovic's services. Many believe that once Joshua was traded, a Roslovic signing was coming shortly after. Donnie and Dolly's Rick Dollywall confirmed the link between the two sides in a tweet. It's basically saying, is there a match between the Canucks and Jack Roslovic? There have been talks with the Canucks and his camp. And this tweet was dated July 17th, 2025 at around 1:30 p.m. However, there hasn't been much other news after this. Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman reported on 32 Thoughts that there were up to 5 or 6 teams interested in the free agent center. The only 3 teams confirmed to have expressed interest are the Canucks, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and his former team, the Carolina Hurricanes, who have not ruled out a reunion. Of the 3 reported options Roslovic has, the Hurricanes can offer him the most money, as they have $10.6 million of available cap space remaining. In comparison, the Canucks, $3.2 million could match his $2.8 million salary he made last season, but the Maple Leafs, who have $1.9 million, would need to make room to bring him in. While Roslovic mainly played on the wing last season in Carolina, if he desires to return to a role more in the middle of the ice, he would have a better chance at landing that job in Vancouver or Toronto. After tying his career high in goals with 22 last season, Roslovic is reportedly looking for a 3-year deal with an AAV of $3 million per season. Mark Sheeg of HockeyWriters.com recently posted an update on Roslovic. Ran into Jack Roslovic this morning. Many around the league are wondering what's going on. There's nothing new to report. This will pick up over the coming days and weeks, a matter of time until the deal is done. Scoring 22 goals in the NHL is no walk in the park. Roslovic surely will find a job for next season, but with the lack of news lately, we may need to wait a little longer to find out what sweater he will be wearing in 2025-26. However, the Canucks still remain in the mix, according to reports. Let's move on to the Rfa'S. The next two players are both Rfa'S and would require a trade or an offer sheet for the Canucks to acquire either player. First up, we have Marco Rossi, who, as you guys know on this channel, I'm a big fan of, and I am full on the Marco Rossi hype train. It's all quiet on the Western Front when it comes to a Rossi extension with the Minnesota Wild. As of late July, the two sides have had virtually no communication since early June, according to the reports from the Athletic's Michael Russo. The two sides are far apart on what they want. Rossi is in search of a long-term deal worth around $6 to $7 million AAV, while the Wild are reportedly leaning toward a short-term bridge deal carrying a $5 million AAV. Rossi has been linked to the Canucks since the Wild were eliminated from the playoffs after the Wild demoted Rossi to the fourth line in their first-round series against the Vegas Golden Knights. Reports started surfacing that GM Bill Guerin didn't like his size and began fielding offers on the 5'9" forward. Canucks went as far as to offer the Wild the 15th overall pick, who turned out to be Braden Coots, in exchange for Rossi. The Wild rejected their offer. The Austrian forward is in line for a healthy raise after a 24-goal, 60-point career season. However, unless an offer sheet surfaces for Rossi, it appears this is heading toward a bridge deal between the Wild and Rossi. May also be easier for the Canucks to acquire him in that case. Next up, we have Mason McTavish. The links between McTavish and the Canucks have not been as strong as the reported ones with Roslovic and Rossi. This may be more fan-driven, however, McTavish is still unsigned and fits the Canucks' needs, so we'll provide an update on his status. Despite believing he needs a change of scenery, NHL insider Frank Cervelli believes that McTavish is staying put in Anaheim. This is a tweet from Frank Cervelli. I will leave a link to this article in the description down below. He was a hot topic, a guy who I think could potentially use a change of scenery. I don't think that's ultimately going to happen. Don't see him as an offer sheet candidate. This tweet was from August 14th. And considering the Ducks have over $20 million in available cap space, any offer sheet extended to McTavish will be most certainly matched by Anaheim. Also, the trade market around McTavish seems quiet. Can't really blame the Ducks for not entertaining offers on him either. The 2021 third overall pick is coming off a breakout campaign where he finished with 22 goals and 52 points. Not to mention, earlier in the offseason, they traded centerman Trevor Zegras to the Philadelphia Flyers, so losing two of their young star centermen wouldn't make much sense for the organization. While you can never say never until the player signs on the dotted line, it appears McTavish will return to Anaheim on a bridge deal. However, this looks to be the most likely of the three players to return to their team, as extension talks are ongoing between both parties, and a resolution seems imminent before training camp. If the Canucks are to add, it's most likely to be Roslovic. If not, who would you like to see them add? So that is that article. So I echo that same question. On this list, who do you think the Vancouver Canucks are most likely to get? Will it be Jack Roslovic? Could there still be a pathway to the Canucks getting Marco Rossi? Obviously, I am leaning towards that because it's Marco Rossi. But I also want to go over a name that is not on this list, and one that has popped up fairly recently. Now, this name is someone who hasn't really been talked about a whole lot, at least not through Canucks Army, but he was recently spoken about on a recent episode of Sekeres and Price, and that is none other than Luke Hughes of the New Jersey Devils, who is still without a contract. Now, could the Canucks possibly try and weed their way and get Luke Hughes, swindle Luke Hughes from the New Jersey Devils? And could that be a part of Operation Keep Quinn Hughes? I mean, the only way the Canucks can get Luke Hughes, they cannot offer sheet him. They absolutely cannot. The only way they can acquire Luke Hughes is via a trade. So let me know in the comment section down below, who would you be willing to trade to the New Jersey Devils to try and entice them to trade away Luke Hughes and bring him over to Vancouver to play with his brother Quinn? Once again, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. And as always, if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single video. You can find us on social media. You can find us on Facebook. Just search The Line Change to find our Facebook page. You can find us on Instagram at The Line Change. You can find us on X at Line Change Van. You can find us on TikTok at the TLC Podcast. You can also find us on Blue Sky at The Line Change. Feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. If you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcast. On Spotify, feel free to give us a follow, as well as rate and review us. It is, of course, greatly appreciated. That's going to do it for this video. As always, let's go Canucks go, and I'll see you guys in the next video.